Hi everybody, welcome back. So we're at the start of a new month, so that means it's time for another project pan check-in video to see how my project pan is going. The last video that I uploaded was reviewing my planning to pan 2023, which was the video that I put up at the end of last year, and I wanted to kind of reflect and sort of see how I'm on track with the goals that I set myself with regards to my project pan. So I said that there were 7 items that I wanted to really kind of focus on and have used up by the end of this year. 3 of those items I've actually decluttered, 2 I have finished, and the remaining 2 items are part of my project plan, so I am working on those. So I'm doing really well with that. I should be on track to finish those 2 items by the end of this year. And also in that video I identified a further 10 items that I want to start incorporating into my project plan and have either used up or be working on using up by the end of this year. So in today's video I'm gonna share with you the progress on my project pan items and also talk about the new items that I have decided to roll in. But let's start off with the exciting updates. I have finished off 3 items this month, which I'm super happy with. I'm really pleased that I have finished off 3 products. The first one is an item I actually mentioned in my previous video, so if you saw that one you will know what this item is. And this is one that I have been working on panning since the start of 2022. I'm pretty sure it was in my project pan for all of last year, and it stayed in my project pan for half of this year, and I'm pleased to say that I have finally finished it up. It took me 5 uses this month to completely finish it up, and it is my Fenty powder bronzer. So this is the Sunstalker Instant Warmth bronzer, and I had mine in 02 Shady Biz, so the second lightest shade that they do in this powder. I think I hit pan in this 2-3 months ago, something like that, and then since then the pan's been getting bigger and bigger. And at the start of last month, so just after my last check-in, I did decide to repress this because the pan was just so big that when I got my brush in I found it really difficult to get product in the middle of my brush. I would have product like on the edges of my brush, so it just made it really difficult to apply it basically. I repressed it, but doing that made the product so dry and crumbly, so pretty much every single time that I used this bronzer, part of the product crumbled and broke off. So I did end up using this up by lots of it kind of flaking apart, falling off, which is a bit of a shame because that is not how I want to use my products. I want to actually physically use them up. So a bit of a shame that this one did get quite kind of crumbly and dry, but anyway, I definitely got my use out of this product. Like I say, I've been panning this for 1.5 years, and then prior to that I was just using it as a, you know, non-project pan item. So definitely got my money's worth out of this product. A very pretty bronzer, a really good shade match for me. It's not hugely warm and orange, it's a very natural kind of like sun-kissed glow. It's a matte bronzer, so it doesn't add any kind of like shimmer or glitter to your face. It's a purely matte bronzer, and just a really lovely formula to work with. Although I was starting to get a bit kind of bored of using this product because it was in my project pan for so long, it is a really pretty bronzer and I would recommend it. But glad to have used this one up, and I can now work on my Vive bronzer. Okay, next item is another one that I have been panning for quite some time. I think I was panning this one all of last year as well, but I took a break from it this year for a bit, and I've only recently put it back into my project pan, but it is an empty. It took 7 uses of this product this month to completely use it up. It's my MAC single eyeshadow in the shade Shroom. You can see that that pan is entirely empty. I did repress this a little while ago, and then in this case repressing it made it so much quicker to get through it. Unlike the Fenty bronzer, this one didn't crack. I was able to just completely use this one up, and there were just a few little bits of powder left in this pan, and it was just super easy to use this product up. Really good quality eyeshadow. It's a very light, slightly warm, shimmery champagne shade, so great for in a corner of my eyes, under the brow bone, but I did also use this as an all over lid shade as well, so that helped because obviously I use a lot more of it using it that way. This powder Oh, it must be, and this is going to sound really bad, it must be about 8 years old. I do have some other MAC single eyeshadows that are about 8 years old as well, and I know I should probably get rid of them. I know there's probably some of you out there watching this going, oh my god, that's really out of date, you need to get rid of these. But I kind of don't want to, because they still perform really well. There's no problems in sort of pigmentation or texture, there's no smell or anything, so I'm going to keep hold of them for now. But anyway, very pleased to have used this one up. This was one that was taking a long time to hit pan on and entirely use up, but glad that I have done so. That is one single eyeshadow less in my collection. And then the third item that I finished off this month was a lip liner, and it took me 12 uses this month to entirely use this one up. This is the NYX lip pencil in the shade Peekaboo Neutral. I bought a few of these shades, and this one was one of my favourites, but I do prefer Natural over this one. This one is just slightly more pink than Natural is. Natural is a perfect balance of brown and pink. This one just has more pink in it, and I just prefer Natural. So that's why I wanted to pan this one. I was thinking that I could get another kind of use worth out of this, another kind of like rotation in the pencil sharpener, but this is so stubborn. The last few times me trying to sharpen this pencil was really difficult because it got really stubborn, and I can't do it. So I'm calling that one done. A very easy product for me to use up. I can use it on the lips, and I was also using this as a blusher shade, and then I mixed it in with my Stila cream blusher as well. So a really easy product for me to use up. I find lip pencils are very easy to pan, so glad that that one has been used up, and there's now only one lip liner left in my collection that I want to pan, and then my lip liner collection looks perfect for me. Okay, so those were the empties. I'm now just going to run through my progress with the rest of the items in my project pan, and then I'll talk about the new items. So next one I used 13 times this month. I've got it on today. This is my Ico Cocoa Edit liquid eyeliner in a mini, and I've got no idea how much is left in this, and therefore no idea how much longer it's going to take for me to use this one up. But I keep saying, because it's a mini, there's not a lot of product in here to begin with, so I should be done with this theoretically soon. You know, how much product can surely be left in this? But anyway, I'm still trying to use this on a fairly regular basis, but once I have used it up, I won't be replacing it, because liquid eyeliner isn't my favourite. I prefer to use a powder. So this one I have actually kind of hit pan on, although you can't see the pan because it is cream, so the product just smears on top of it. This is my Stila cream blusher. I'm not really sure if you can see where I'm kind of referring to. It's sort of there, but as I kind of rubbed my finger into it, I could feel pan, but obviously because of the creamy texture, I was just smearing more product on top of it. So I have technically hit pan, even though you can't really see the pan. This one I only used 6 times last month, but I have now found a way that I prefer to wear this. Previously I was just kind of getting my finger in and then applying it like this, or doing the same with a brush, but now I prefer to get some on my finger, rub it on the back of my hand, get a brush, rub it in, and then apply it, and it's a much more diffused, kind of lighter coverage blusher, because straight from here onto the cheeks it's really pigmented, and I think that's why I haven't used it that often, because I don't like how it looks like that. But with my new technique, much prefer it, and now that I have, I suppose, hit pan, I think it is quite promising that I could use this one up by the end of the year, but obviously I need to use it way more than 6 times in a month. But I have high hopes for this one. I think that I could do this. I hope I'm not going to regret saying that. Next product I used 14 times. This is my Vive Eye Wand in the shade Camel that I use as a cream bronzer, and I use this pretty much every time that I wear makeup, and my progress on this last month was so minuscule and it was really disheartening. But my progress this month, for some reason, I'm not sure if I'm just using more of it, but my progress is a lot bigger, so really pleased with that. Although saying that, this is still going to take me the end of the year to use up, because for some reason it's just taking a long time to get down this eye wand, even though it is quite a creamy formulation. But it's a really lovely bronzer, really easy to blend out as well. I haven't used this one today, I will say which one I've used in a moment, But yeah, a really lovely product to work with, and then because it is also an eye wand as well, it's quite a versatile product. I'm making steady progress with my Kiko brow pencil. This is in the shade 04. I don't have too much of this left, but saying that, I do reckon that's like 3 to 4 months worth of this. So I reckon this will still be with me in the autumn months, and I used it 18 times since the previous check-in. This is another one that I use basically every time I wear makeup, because I use a clear brow gel and then I fill in any gaps with this. The next item I used 12 times. It is my liquid highlighter from Vive. This is the XL version of the Skin Dew, so there's 60 mils of product here, which is a lot, especially for somebody who doesn't really particularly like to wear highlighter, but this is probably one of my favourite highlighters that I've tried. I've got it on today underneath a powder highlighter as well, but it's really easy to work with. It's a really lovely light warm gold shade. I am hoping in the upcoming sort of weeks to start mixing this in with like a body moisturiser or popping it on my shoulders, because we are in summer now, although this week, and today included, it's not as warm. But once the weather picks up, I will start to wear it that way and get through it that bit quicker, because just using a tiny amount on my face, this will be with me till at the end of next year. So do need to start using a lot more of this, but I did use it, you know, 12 times since the last update. Okay, the next one I hardly wore. I wore this one 5 times. Why did I wear that one so few times? I'm not sure. Anyway, this is the Vive Sunset Blush Balm in the shade Pesca. So this is a liquid blusher. I have some of this on today mixed in with the Stila blusher as well. Those two together work really nicely, and I don't feel like it's an overpowering blush as well. So hoping to use this one way more than 5 times. I have used it a lot more than that. So yeah, not really sure why my usage this month was so low, but a really pretty blusher, really easy to work with. It's a light, luminous, juicy, warm peach shade. So for me, a lovely year-round shade, but especially so in the warmer months. Now, I don't know how much of this I have left. I'm going to try to sort of squeeze without... Oh, okay, yeah, no, I still have quite a bit of this left over, but I am hoping to get this one used up with by the end of the year, because it is a really pretty blusher. I don't want it to kind of sit there and go to waste. I want to use products in my project pan that I really enjoy using, and I do use a fair amount of this when I use it, so I'm hoping, you know, the next 6 months I can get this one used up. Next is my Milani Luminoso blusher. I've used it 17 times. I'm really hoping to hit pound on this blusher soon, because my goodness, how much longer will it take? It's really flat now, so I hope it's soon. I hope it's in the next update. I would love to show you a pan in this in my next update. I really would. This is my oldest blusher. That's why it's in my project pan. It is out of date, although it's still performing fine, smells fine, no reactions on my skin. And it's just, I have it on today. It's a really pretty luminous blusher. It's kind of like a 2-in-1 blusher highlighter. I do find sometimes that I need more pigment, but I don't want to go in with this because I'm adding more luminosity, more shimmer to my face. So I do like to pair this with Vive Pesca powder blusher that's in my Shop My Stash. Those two work really nicely together. That's what I have done today, although we're looking really bright at the moment. The sun is coming in and out, so hopefully the colour in this video isn't too bad. But anyway, I use this one a lot, and I'm hoping... Actually, you know what? Let me close the window. I have it on the latch. But yeah, I am hoping to hit pan in this one next month, because, like I say, I feel like it's a long time coming. So hopefully by the next update I'll have a pan. I have a pan in this product though, and I've had a pan for quite some time, and the pan is getting bigger and bigger. It is the Vive powder highlighter in this face palette in the shade Dawn. I have this highlighter on today, and it's a very, very pretty highlighter. I'm not a highlighter fan, but this one, along with the Skin Dew, are the best highlighters that I have tried, so I don't really mind wearing highlighter at the moment actually, because I am enjoying how these two highlighters are looking. This one should definitely be an empty by the end of the year. I've got 6 more months to work on it to get that pan even bigger, and then I can just kind of work into the corners and use it, say, as an eyeshadow perhaps, but that one shouldn't be a problem. Used it 15 times. Next item I used 20 times. It's another eye wand by Vive. This is the one that I use as an eyeshadow base, like a an eyeshadow primer. Progress on this one is slow and steady. This one should also take me till the end of the year because they're just really difficult to see a lot of progress in. It doesn't do a great job of priming my eyes. So if I have a fair amount of eyeshadow on my eyes, I find that it does crease a little bit. I do need to kind of see how this lasts throughout the day. But if I've just got a wash of eyeshadow over the top, then it's fine. So not great as an eyeshadow primer, but an eyeshadow base for just one or two eyeshadows over the top, it does a fine job. And it's a really warm, natural, slightly darker than my natural eyelids colour. So a really, really lovely colour for just a bit of a wash of something on the eyes. And then last two items in my current project pan are both eyeshadows from the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. I have the shades Chaser and Ounce, so these two bottom shades here. The shade Chaser, which is this matte ivory shade, I've used 18 times, and I've used that quite a lot because I use that over the top of the eye wand. Sometimes I leave it there, but then other days like today I will then put another eyeshadow over the top. I think that pan is getting bigger. It must be getting bigger because it's actually getting a little bit tricky to get my brush into either side. That one I don't see a problem in using up by the end of the year. And then the shade Ounce is this one here. This one I used 8 times, and this one I use as like an inner corner highlight under the brow bone. I've done that today, and this one also shouldn't be a problem to finish up by the end of the year. So those two should be empties in 6 months' time. So at the last check-in video I had 14 items. I've used up 3 this month, so I'm down to 11, but because in my previous video I found another 10 items that I want to start panning, I have included some of them in the current project pan, so I'm up to 18 items in my project pan, which sounds like a lot, and I am used to having just 10 items, but they are all, bar like 2 or 3 of them, different types of products, so they all have their own kind of place within my makeup routine. So there's 8 new items that I'm going to roll in, but there is one currently in my project pan that I'm going to roll out, and it is my Vive eye wand in the shade Camel. This is the one that I'm using as my cream bronzer, and the reason that I'm rolling this one out for the moment is because my progress on this, bar this month actually, is quite slow. I was expecting to use this one up fairly quickly because there's not a load of product, and where I'm using it as a cream bronzer, I'm using a lot of it on my face. I was thinking, oh, I could get through that quite quickly, but I'm not. So I am going to roll this one out for now, and I'm going to replace it with another product that I will use as a cream bronzer, which is my NYX lip liner in the shade Global Citizen. Very similar shades, warm light brown shades, and this one I've used today as a cream bronzer. However, I was expecting this one to perform a bit better. This is a really creamy lip liner, but this was a bit of a pain to try and blend out. It was a bit stubborn, surprisingly, and then it would start to kind of separate and flake, so a little bit annoying. But this is only the first time that I've used it as a cream bronzer, so maybe I just need to switch up my technique, try and mix it in with maybe a concealer or a primer or a liquid highlighter and see if it works better that way. But I am hoping, because it's a creamy lip liner, I'll probably need to sharpen it every time I use it, or most times that I use it, and I think that I could get through this quicker than I can get through the rest of the eye wand. This I think I can use up in 2 months, 3 months max, and then that means that I've got 3-4 months to finish up the eye wand, which I should be able to do. And then the other products that I'm going to roll in. The first one is my one and only primer. This is the Vive Skin Nova. I have cut it out of the tube because my tube was really rubbish. The pump just didn't want to work. I would be pumping for like 20 pumps worth and nothing would come out. So I cut it open, scooped it all out and put it in here. This one, I mean, it's kind of built up on one side, but this is maybe like a third full, and this tub is 20 grams. So yeah, I reckon I've got like 7-8 grams in here possibly, so it shouldn't take me too long to use up. And I want to pan it because it has just been sitting on my dressing table not getting used because I haven't been wearing foundation, so I haven't been wearing this underneath it. But need to get this one used up, and I would like to try other primers. It's not my favourite product from Vive. It does a good job of priming, but I'm not amazed by it. So if you saw my previous video, you would have seen that there are 4 foundations that I need to start working on as part of my project plan, because they're starting to come out of date soon. The first one, the one that I need to focus on, that needs to be my main foundation that I'm using, is this Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat foundation, and I did say that I've got about 4/5 of this left over. However, now I have shaken this so it's not settling too well, but I marked this yesterday before I used some of it today, and I've actually got about, here's the line, I've got about 3/4 of this left over, so I've got less than I thought I had, and this is only 25 mils, so I've got, what, 18 mils left over for this. So this one really should be an empty by the end of the year, and this is going to be my main foundation that I need to work on. It's the one that I have on today. It's a very, very pretty foundation, gives a really nice luminous effect, but I just find foundations too heavy now, and I don't really want foundations in my collection moving forwards. I would rather stick to like skin tints. Saying that, I've got another foundation that I'm going to include in my project plan to work alongside the Touche Éclat. This is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, slightly larger, 30 mils, so a standard bottle, and I have no idea of how much of this I have left because this doesn't really settle, so I can't mark it, but looking into it, I think I've probably got about 3/4, because once I start to tip it, it's not too long until it starts to come out. So I think I've got, yeah, about 3/4 of this. Now this goes out of date, technically, a couple months after the Touche Éclat one. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'll wear this for 2 days in a row, then I'll wear this for 1, 2 days, 1, 2 days, 1. I'll try to do it like that, so I'm using both of them, but using the Touche Éclat that bit more frequently. So next product is going to be a powder. If you saw my Empties video, I finished up my Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder, so that means I now have just 2 powders in my collection. This one I'm going to include because it is absolutely out of date. It's only got a year's shelf life, and I've had this for like 3-4 years, but it's still fine. Performs really well, no smell, no problems on how it affects my face. So this one is fine to continue using. It's the Fenty Invisimatte Blotting Powder. I do have a big pan in it at the moment, and this pan is quite shallow, so I will use this every time I wear makeup, and I'm hoping to get through this fairly quickly. I don't see why this one shouldn't be an empty by the end of the year, so I have high hopes for finishing up this one and looking forward to seeing this pan getting bigger and bigger in each update video. I'm also going to include the 2 lipsticks that I identified in that reviewing planning to pan video. They're both reds. First one, Estee Lauder Persuasive lipstick, an orange based red, beautiful red, my go-to red, I feel very comfortable in it. And then a MAC Sweet Cinnamon one, which I do have quite a bit of because I haven't used this one much at all, although it is a lovely colour, lovely formulation. Another orange based red, but darker than the Estee Lauder one. I am not expecting to use either of these up by the end of the year, but I'm going to include them in my project pan so I can just start using them a lot more frequently than what I'm currently using them. So we will see what happens in terms of progress for these items, but like I say, I'm not expecting to use them up, and I don't think that my usage of these are going to be that high, but as long as I'm using both of them several times per month, I'll be happy with that. And I can wear these 2 together as well. I can do that, and I can wear them as blushes. And then the final item that I'm including in my project pan, I've got it on today, but I think I probably need to touch up with it actually with all this talking I'm doing. It's the Vive Lip Dew. This one is in the shade Pesca, so it's a light peach. As you can see, I will pop a bit more on, it doesn't translate to much peach on my lips, but my lips are quite pale to begin with, so, and the colour is going to take differently depending on what your natural lip colour is anyway, but this one is beautiful formulation, feels really soft and hydrating. They call it a glossy lip oil, and it does have that really hydrating oil sort of feel to it, but it is still a lip gloss. Lip glosses I find very easy to use up because I can use them with makeup, without makeup, and then over the top of sort of different lip colours as well. So this one should be a really easy product for me to use up by the end of this year. I don't see me having any problems finishing this one up. So that's how my project pan is now looking. It's looking rather large, nearly double the items that I'm used to having in my project pan. But like I say, they all have their own kind of place within my makeup routine. Like I say, bar a couple of items. So I've got, what, 2 lipsticks, I've got 2 foundations that I probably wouldn't wear, you know, at the same time. But I don't think this project pan is too large. It's unmanageable. So despite it being a large project pan, I'm happy with the items that are in it. Looking at my list, in terms of empties, I don't think I'm going to have any empties next month. But I am hoping for my marker on my Touche Eclat foundation to be a lot lower. Hoping to see some really good progress with the pencils like that NYX lip liner and also my Kiko brow pencil. And then hoping to see the pans get bigger in the powder highlighter and the face powder as well. So that is how my project pan is currently looking. If you're doing a project pan, please let me know how yours is going and what your progress has been so far this year as well. If you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again very soon for my next one, which should be my Pan in Every Eyeshadow palette update. So see you soon, guys. Bye.